What's the big question?
What if everything you know to be true was just one big lie?
Rebecca, I am so humbled to chat with you today. I am such a big fan of yours. I'm also a huge fan of your singing. I loved your voice in Reminiscence, and I kind of hope we get to see more of that one of these days. And if there's
Two.
a Greatest Showman sequel, I hope that happens one day.
No,
Yeah, Hugh Jackman's
stop
talked about
that.
it. Yeah.
No, Hugh, come on. Sometimes things should just be left. Also, because I don't know what my character, I'd be jealous. I feel like the character was kind of cast aside. I'll come back as a juggler.
But I think Jenny Lind, there's more story to tell, and you did a great job with her. So I would love to
You.
see that. So I do want to talk about Silo. Congratulations. I love this series so much. And I wanted to go with something really fun to start with. I've asked everybody, all your
Yes.
co-stars, this question already. But early on, we hear Solo listening to Red Rain by Peter Gabriel. And because I feel like music circles your life, if you were stuck in a silo as yourself and you found a box of records, what is the first thing you'd hope to find and listen to?
I think it has to be something like her name was Lola. It needs to be something happy or something gay or or dum 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 dum. But really loud. White Stripes.
Yes, White Stripes. Yeah, that's a great
So
choice.
I find albums, they're not I need the album, an album that is so brilliant from the beginning to the end. I don't know what that would be. What is that, Tanya?
I don't know what that is. For me, it's a lot of like 1940s, Artie Shaw and like
Yeah.
Cab Calloway. So it's like, maybe the Monkees if you go to the 60s. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of great music. There's a lot of music to play with. Yeah.
Happy. I think I'm stuck with like the best of Motown because it makes me want to dance and it makes me want to sing. I can't do things that makes me want to kill myself.
No, no, it's already in Silo's already pretty dark. So you don't want to, yeah.
I'm not going Mumford and Sons. Like
Uh-uh.
that's good, but it's also like, oh.
Yeah, yeah. No, I will say my last couple of weeks have just been the Greatest Showman soundtrack, so I would maybe want to have that in there. Who knows?
That could be a good one.
Yeah, it's a great
Also,
one.
I have good memories to it. Yeah, I could go with that one.
Yeah, yeah, and lots of dancing. So let's talk about some Silo. So Juliet and Solo.
Oh, more games, more
I know more
games.
games. I do want to get into spoilers with you from episode 1 to episode 5. We can talk about everything in between. Juliet and Solo, they share a sense of isolation that's quite haunting, but also kind of unique to her own previous lifestyle in Silo 18. How did you and Steve support each other in creating that atmosphere? Like, was there something surprising between the characters that led you to approach Juliet differently now in this season?
I mean, I think what made it also interesting was the way that Steve played Solo, working against a character that is so childish and so naive and scared, put Juliet in a situation where she constantly had to walk on eggshells. And it's something that her as a character have never done before. She just does what the heck she wants, right? And it's like handling a thing, but this thing is a human being. It's like her worst nightmare. He is her worst nightmare, and she needs to deal with it. Um, and out there comes this beautiful relationship, you know? That's a huge thing for her.
Yeah, I had asked Steve that, like I think you two are both the same sides of like one coin. Like you're sort of like, when it comes to the
Both
isolation.
odd and
Yeah,
isolated
yeah,
and introverts and it's the most uncomfortable dynamic for two people because they have to stand in the silence of each other and yet they can't walk away. They still have to stand in the awkwardness with each other. Um,
no, it
it's
makes sense.
brilliant.
Yeah. And Silo 17 is very different, and it puts you in the middle of some serious stunt work this season, particularly with Juliet's near drowning scene in episode 4, which was so intense. I was really nervous because you never know what's going to happen in a show, what they do with the character. What was the most challenging part of filming that? Because we do learn early on in season 1 that she has a fear of water and swimming and all that. So, how do you balance the character's fear with the expected mechanics of the stunt itself?
Um, it was, to be honest, there was actually a moment that was quite uncomfortable. You know, you're underwater, I'm tied up with a rope. I've got Pete, my wingman, who is the diver, who makes sure that I'm okay. I'm also a diver. So he has a reg. He also has another reg. So I'm safe. And we're not too far down. We're 5 meters. I don't know how far down we are, but it's fine to shoot up. You shouldn't, but it's okay. But when I'm doing the swimming and I'm maneuvering, number one, I have a regulator that is not just sort of an inhaling thing. You have to bite on something. And when you bite on it, it automatically shoots air into your lungs. So you can't breathe. You're not breathing air. You're opening your throat and letting air shoot into your lungs. It's a really weird sensation. And it takes time to fill up. And then you just have to trust your brain that you have air in your system because you haven't done this. It's just automatically done it like a machine. And then swimming. And then I had to do this sequence when I shoot up. And we had to time or sort of measure out that I was just above the surface. And it needs to be that panic that you can't get up. And then I needed to get off the rope, but the rope had expanded in the water. So when we did the rope, the actual physics of it was that I couldn't get the rope off and I've dropped the regulator. So it wasn't panic, but it was not comfortable. So I think I had a moment of like, and then Pete comes in and I get the reg in, and we realized obviously that wool expands. So if you do the knot too tight, that ain't good.
Yeah, doesn't sound good. Would you say this is the most boldest stunt or daring stunt that you've done in your career so far? That it's something that was so, even like I think Mission Impossible, when you were talking about it, like, yeah, I'm thinking about that underwater sequence in the circle, like in the what was it, turbine or whatever it was. Yeah.
No, this
No.
wasn't. I mean, I'm not going to sell it as something. No, because Mission is this on crack, you know.
Right. It's on steroids.
No, everything is so heightened. Um, but what makes it harder in some way with this was I'm stuck with cables and stuff holding me down. And there's so many gadgets and things you have to remember, and this thing that is shooting air in and not coming up. So it becomes you have to really calm yourself before going in as an actor and concentrate on what's first, what's pulling you, where are you stuck? If I get scared, what's the thing to disconnect me, and where's Pete? Um, but when you have all of that, it's actually very meditative. If you like swimming and diving, it's very calming and quiet.
It is very calming and quiet. I have one more question to ask you. I'm getting the wrap, but episode 5 is a big one. We see Juliette at the end, sort of, finding out what's going on with Solo. He's not exactly who he says he is. She is now sick, and she has, her arm all busted up. And I'm wondering, how does this understanding now of him shape her attitude towards what's happening next, and like her experience of isolation in the silo? What's going to happen? Like, can you tease after episode 5 for fans?
I think the wonderful journey with this show is the constant issues that she meets along the way. And I think at this moment, when you believe you have someone who is on your side, and realizing that they might have manipulated something to get basically the upper hand to control you, that is where we leave it. And that is fear on another level for her, I think, because there's no just running away anymore. This is about having to stay safe, even in this silo.
Yeah. Well, I'm very, very excited for everyone to watch the show. I have watched up to episode 9, and I cannot
You
imagine
haven't
what's
seen
gonna happen.
10.
I haven't seen 10. They're holding out on me right now, so I'm hoping to get 10. And congratulations on the show. It's phenomenal. I cannot wait for more.
Thank you, Tanya.
I'm so humbled to talk to you. Thank you so much. It's been amazing. Made my day.